What's up, guys? Do you mind if I rock the wife beater today? It's a little hot. um, just checking in because I've been on Facebook for a little bit and have friends giving me similar complaints about use of the platform um, through Meta. And I was telling a friend that basically companies shouldn't be run by autistic people because they fundamentally don't know how to connect with people on different levels. Whereas, well, we know that Elon Musk is afflicted with autism. I believe Asperger's syndrome. I'm not sure, but he's on that autistic spectrum, which there's some doubt that it is a spectrum. I mentioned this before in a previous video on psychological terms that people use wrongly, and about the skepticism about how autism is a family of disorders that fall within a spectrum, and how within the DSM-5 and previous texts that the American Psychiatric Association seems to have a bad habit of trying to classify everything as being a spectrum of disorders, and it may do a disservice to those folks that actually suffer those problems. But this is a different video, and here I just want to criticize some of these autistic people because I don't believe fundamentally they should be running companies that are responsible for dealing with people, or even worse, running companies that are social media platforms, because they just lack in certain human values. It also hurts when you are a STEM major and you're not required to take any humanities courses to fulfill it, which I think only happens in like some colleges. Most colleges require the quote unquote well-rounded student, so you have to take those classes even if you're a STEM major, or vice versa. If you're a humanities major, you still have to take maybe a few math or science classes to be well-rounded, which makes sense. But anyway, so we're pretty sure that Mark Zuckerberg falls somewhere on that autistic spectrum as well. And it's pretty obvious the guy lacks just normal human qualities, which is why he's often lampooned on Saturday Night Live and by comedians for seeming less than authentic or human like. And it shows in the way he runs his media platform as well. People are thrown in what we colloquially call Facebook jail, which is restrictions put on your account for the most asinine of reasons. For instance, with myself, I had a restriction put on myself because I literally used an emoji where the guy hunches and does this. And, I joked about it. I was like, well, what in the multiverse would cause this to be a restriction? And there's several other things. Like, I've been put on a restriction for a meme I shared 2 years ago, making fun of the whole Clorox bleach thing, belief that the president himself put out about dealing with COVID-19. Mind you, it was false, but the president put that out himself, whether intentionally or not. And, people joked about it. I was one of them. And now, 2 years later, I get restricted for it. And then I get restricted for a comment I left under my own post um, talking about baby boomers. So, so apparently, boomer is a slur. Yet on Facebook, people can say nigga unrestricted. Excuse me, the N word. But I wanted to use it just once, just so you hear the depth of it. When you can see this just sprinkled around Facebook, and people don't catch restrictions on that. But can I say boomer or middle America, which was literally in that post? That was the hateful words. Another friend said something about women and someone hating them in the same sentence, and it was restricted for that. And it's like, who writes the algorithm for this stuff? Like, they need to get people who have humanities majors who can say, this is stupid. Apparently Silicon Valley has been quietly trying to get people in who have humanities majors, particularly in philosophy, which makes sense. So much so that people with these computer science backgrounds are actually going back to school to get educated in things like philosophy or whatever, to be more well-rounded um, in their career field. Um, I don't know about that. Um, the intention is good, but the product, I can't say. But the algorithms used in Facebook is ridiculous. And like I said, I don't believe autistic people should be running companies like this. I don't think they know how to connect with people on fundamental levels that's important for a successful firm, nor um, a successful interaction with people. This guy has multiple run-ins all the time with the general public and the government, but because, he's a billionaire, he gets away with it. Especially when you can, uh, you know, and I'm not saying that he does, but just saying if. I'm making this a hypothetical assertion here, but especially, if and when they can donate untold amounts of money to a person's super PAC, or um, donate to their campaign election, stuff like that, and you know fill the whole lobby industry for the social media industry and telecom, whatever. You can get away with a lot of stuff. So enough of my rant. I'm just here to say, and I don't care if it offends people, autistic people shouldn't run companies because they don't know how to deal with people. And it's not an insult to autistic people. It's just to say that not all things are for all people. There's certain things, because of your your constitution, whatever that may be, that may limit you in some areas. There's trade-offs to everything. On a bright side, some autistic people, not the extreme people, the ones who have the extreme disorders, but there are some with mild to moderate autism that seem to be better able to focus on mundane activities, especially when it comes to like education and stuff like that. So that's their net positive. But their net negative is, I don't think they know how to relate to people well. And I don't think they should be running multinational companies that are responsible for dealing with people, because Elon Musk is a fucking mess. Seriously, I, I would feel sorry for the people who work for him, but they knew what they were getting into, at least within the last few years. If you started working for him maybe a decade or so ago, sure, you didn't know what you were getting into. But nowadays, you know what you're getting into with that dude. So, all right, guys, see you later. Um, if you see me on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, say hi. I will say hi back. Okay. All right. Talk to you later. And just a contrarian.